Hello, I'm Mary Lou Metzger, your host for the Lawrence Welk Show. This program, taped in 1973, is a musical tour of Europe, starting with our great orchestra playing around the world and featuring Anacani singing La Paloma. This show also features Tom Netherton's performance of Stranger in Paradise and our champagne lady Norma Zimmer's wonderful Copenhagen. Then stay tuned at the end of our show when we'll visit with Welk star Guy Hovis and hear his interesting stories of being a part of the Welk TV show. Now, here's the maestro himself, Mr. Lawrence Welk.
In County Down, or in New York, in gay Paris, or even London town. No more will I go all around the world, for I have found my world in you.
Around the world. Well, not quite all the way around. Our show this evening is a musical tour of Europe, and we welcome you aboard. Our first stop is Ireland, and here's a surprise. The singer isn't Joe Feeney. It's Clay Hart, and I think you'll find Clay does a wonderful job with this familiar Irish song.
Thank you, Lawrence. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you, must go and I must buy. But come ye back where summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. It's I'll be there in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. It's I'll be there in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so.
Very nice, Clay. Very, very pleasant. And now a selection from our new album titled In Concert with Lawrence Welk and His Musical Family. And from this album, we bring you a medley of famous movie themes. It features Ralston Bob Smale, and our fine young trumpet man, Johnny Zell. George Cates conducts the orchestra. We always have so many requests for religious songs on our show. Guy and Ralna have just recorded a new album of hymns, and they'd like to sing one of them for you.
Rock of Ages, cleft for me, let me hide myself in thee. Let the water and the blood from thy wounded side which flowed be of sin the double cure. Save from wrath and make me pure. Could my tears forever flow? Could my zeal no longer know? These for sin could not atone. Thou must save, and thou alone. In my hand no price I bring, simply to thy cross I cling. While I draw this fleeting breath, behold thee on thy throne. Rock of ages, cleft for me. Let me hide myself in thee. Let me hide myself in
Thank you, Guy and Ralna. Now we take you to Spain, where I recently spent a week playing golf and seeing some of the country. Cissy and Bobby give us a typical Spanish dance.
Thank you. Bobby and Cissy adding more excitement to Anacani. Anacani's Spanish ancestry makes her feel right at home in this portion of our European show. And she's chosen a well-known and beautiful song for you, La Paloma.
Yo soy la paloma errante que vino aquí en busca de un triste nido que yo perdí. Yo soy la paloma errante que vino aquí en busca de un triste nido que yo perdí. Si a tu ventana llega una paloma, trátala con cariño, que es mi persona. Ay, chinita, que sí. Ay, que dame tu amor. Ay, que vente conmigo, chinita, a donde vivo yo. Ay, chinita, que sí. Ay, que dame tu amor. Tienes que volver tú conmigo, chinita, pues yo no sé olvidar. Gracias. Son ustedes muy amables. Gracias. Muchísimas gracias, amigos. Ahora les quiero... pardon me. I got carried away with the Spanish atmosphere here. What I was saying was that I'd like to introduce to you folks a great clarinet man, my friend Henry Cuesta, playing a real famous Spanish song, Granada. Henry?
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the newest member of our musical family. A young man who won't be a stranger to you very long. From Bloomington, Minnesota, we bring you Tom Netherton.
Take my hand, I'm a stranger in paradise, all lost in a wonderland, a stranger in paradise. If I stand starry-eyed, that's a danger in paradise for mortals who stand beside an angel like you. I saw your face and I ascended out of the commonplace into the rare. Somewhere in space I hang suspended until I know there's a chance that you care. Won't you answer a fervent prayer of a stranger in paradise? Don't send me in dark despair from all that I hunger for. Just open your angel arms to a stranger in paradise and tell him that he need be a stranger no more.
Listen to that applause. Very nice, Tom. Ladies and gentlemen, last summer when I had my family reunion back in North Dakota, I met this young man, and I kind of think I'd like to have you tell the folks the story.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was singing in the Medora musical in Medora, North Dakota, at the same time that Mr. Welk was there for his family reunion, as he mentioned. And it just so happens that the people that own the show that I was singing with are good friends with Mr. Welk. And they arranged an audition for me with him. Their names are Harold and Shyla Schaefer. And I met Mr. Welk at the Bismarck Country Club, or the Apple Creek Country Club in Bismarck, North Dakota. And I guess Mr. Welk was in a good mood from playing golf because he asked me then to sing, after he heard me, to sing at the concert in St. Paul, Minnesota. And from there, he asked me to come to the TV show. And I'm most grateful and very happy to be here.
It's a pleasure. It's really a pleasure to have you. Thank you. Wonderful young man. Back to our tour of Europe with our lovely Champagne lady, Norma Zimmer. Since Norma comes from Scandinavian parents, I guess it's only natural that her song would be about the wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen.
Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen, friendly old girl of a town. 'Neath her tavern light on this merry night, let us clink and drink one down. To wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen, salty old queen of the sea. Once I sailed away, but I'm home today, singing Copenhagen. Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen for me. Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen, salty old queen of the sea. Once I sailed away, but I'm home today, singing Copenhagen. Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen for me.
A little touch of Danish with our Norwegian Champagne lady. Next, a touch of Germany with Arthur Duncan. No, Art's not going to do a German waltz, but the song was written by the famous German band leader Bert Kaempfert. Art, Danke Schöen.
I never get tired of watching that fabulous Arthur Duncan dance. Now don't go away because we have more traveling to do. We're going to France and Galway Bay and listen to Myron Floren's Liechtensteiner Polka. And at the end of the show, we have a fascinating visit with Guy Hovis. So stay with us. Now back to the show.
No trip to Europe would be complete without a visit to France. So come on along and let's join Ken Delo on the boulevards of Paris.
Gigi, am I a fool without a mind, or have I merely been too blind to realize? Oh, Gigi, why you've been growing up before my eyes. Gigi, you're not at all that funny, awkward little girl I knew. Oh no, overnight there's been a breathless change in you. Oh Gigi, while I was trembling on the brink, was I out yonder somewhere blinking at a star? Oh Gigi, have I been standing up too close or back too far? When did your sparkle turn to fire and your warmth become desire? Oh, what miracle has made you the way you are? Oh, what miracle has made you the way you are?
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. And now we have a very beautiful, beautiful medley of French songs with the orchestra playing. And we have some very lovely, lovely young ladies who are going to sing. And while I continue to direct the traffic, George Cage will direct the band. That's a little joke. No? No. Take it away, George.
Stranger, beware, there's love in the air under Paris skies. Try to be smart and don't let your heart catch on fire. Love becomes king the moment it's spring under Paris skies. Lonely hearts meet, so
see what Larry Hooper has for us. Larry?
Thank you, Lawrence. I don't have a song about any country in particular, but I have one I've been kicking around a few years, and it's about a situation that could happen to a guy almost anywhere. Somebody stole my gal. Somebody stole my gal. Somebody stole my pal. Somebody came and just took her away. She didn't even say she was leaving. Those kisses I love so. He's getting now, I know. And gee, I know that she come back to me if she could see her broken-hearted, lonesome pal. Somebody stole my gal. Somebody stole my gal. Somebody stole my pal. Somebody came and just took her away. She didn't even say she was leaving. Those kisses I love so. He's getting now, I know. And gee, I know that she come back to me if she could see her broken-hearted, her lonesome pal. Somebody stole my, somebody stole my, somebody stole my gal. Stole my gal.
Larry Hooper, what a pleasure to have this young man back with us again. On with our tour and our next stop, Italy, with Jimmy Roberts and Charlotte.
My life I'd give for you, Animicore. I'll only live for you, Animicore. I have but one desire, and it's to love you with all my heart, with all my soul, my whole life through. From stars I'll make a crown and kneel before you. I pray you'll take my hand, for I adore you. So open up the door leading to heaven, a heaven mine and yours, Animicore. Mine and yours, Animicore, Animicore.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you. You know, a lot of things are changing these days, but in England, certain customs and traditions seem to endure. Like the coronations, the changing of the guard, and of course the famous street entertainers, the Pearlies. Here's a typical London scene with Bobby and Cissy, Mary Lou Metzger, and Jack Immel.
I wonder where they are. They're supposed to be here by now.
Ladies and gents,
Standing here waiting for the King's horses and the King's men to parade by. We'd like to entertain for you a bit.
Splendid idea.
The King's horses, the King's men, they march down the street and they march back again. The King's horses and the King's men.
They're in scarlet, they're in gold.
They're all gussied up, it's a joy to behold. The King's horses and the King's men.
to fight the foe. You might think so, but oh dear no. They're out because they've got to go to put a little pep into the Lord Mayor's show. It's their duty now and then to march down the street and to march back again. The king's horses and the king's men.
Folks, it just wouldn't be right to do a show like this without an Irish song by Joe Feeney. So here he is with Bob Ralston at the organ.
If you ever go across the sea to Ireland, then maybe at the closing of your day, you will sit and watch the moon rise over Claddagh and see the sun go down on Galway Bay. Just to hear again the ripple of the trout stream, the women in the meadows making hay, and to sit beside a turf fire in a cabin and watch the barefoot gossans at their play. For the breeze is blowing o'er the seas from Ireland, are perfumed by the heather as they blow, and the women in the upland are digging praties, speak a language that the strangers do not know. For the strangers came and tried to teach us their ways. They scorned us just for being what we are. But you might as well go chasing after moonbeams, or light a penny candle from a star. And if there is going to be a life hereafter, and somehow I am sure there's going to be, I will ask my God to let me make my heaven in that dear land across the Irish Sea.
Beautiful. What control. What control this man has. In Europe, there are many countries where the polka is so very, very popular. So Myron and boys, take over.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been wonderful having you here this evening, but all good things must come to an end. Let's get together and sing Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen, auf Wiedersehen, we'll meet again, sweetheart. This lovely day has flown away. The time has come to part. We'll kiss again, like this again. Don't let the teardrops start. With love that's true, I'll wait for you. Auf Wiedersehen, sweetheart. We'll kiss again, like this again. Don't let the teardrops start. With love that's true, I'll wait for you. Auf Wiedersehen,
Thanks so much for joining us on our musical tour of Europe. In 1976, I had the pleasure of touring part of Europe with our next special guest. Please welcome Guy Hovis.
Hey, Mary Lou.
Hi, Guy. Those were the days.
Those were the, didn't we have a ball?
We did. How did you ever start singing?
Oh, goodness. I've been singing for as long as I can remember. I'm one of those who started singing in church when I was about 5 years old, I think, when I sang my first solo in church. And I sang all through school, you know, musicals. My friends in college just convinced me that I needed to try singing before I, you know, lived a life behind a desk with a pencil to see, you know, maybe, you know, they said you'll always look back and wonder if you could have done it, if you could have made it as a singer. So that's the reason I ever even ventured off to California to get into show business.
So what brought you to California?
Well, my 1963 Catalina Pontiac. I just packed that thing on me. I didn't know a soul. What I did, I knew one soul in California, and he was a friend of mine who I'd gone to college with. His name was Tom Lester, and he played Ebb on Green Acres. And I had talked to him. You know, I said, you know, I think I'm going to try this for the summer before I come back to Mississippi and go to work. And so he told me to go to this little nightclub in Santa Monica called The Horn, where young people could get up on stage and learn how to perform and kind of showcase their talent. And so I did. I drove out to California, went down to The Horn in Santa Monica, and met the owners, Rick and Margaret Riccardi, who were really, I mean, they kept me alive. They let me check IDs at the front door and paint and do a little work around the place. And then late at night, when everybody was finished, the regular performers, when they had finished performing, they'd let me get up on stage, and I kind of learned how to perform and learned a little bit about show business. I mean, I knew nothing, so it was a wonderful little place for me to learn about the business and to watch seasoned performers work. And
well, you became part of a duo, Guy and David, right?
David and I got together after I'd been in California for about a year, because I worked there at the Horn for about 6 or 7 months, and And through my working there at the Horn, I had gotten some shots on Art Linkletter's House Party show on CBS. It was a wonderful experience, but I found out that through that experience that nobody in show business watched daytime television in those days. So I got nothing out of that. I didn't get a record contract. I didn't get a job or anything. And David had been kind of knocking around himself, trying to get a record contract and get something going. We both finally figured that, you know, there's too many single male singers out here. That was the time of Tom Jones, Engelbert Humperdinck, all these guys. So we decided we'd team up, so, you know, try it as a duo. So we became Guy and David, and we were an instant hit. It was like we got a record contract with ABC. We got us a manager and an agent, and here we went. You know, for about 2 years, we had a great run. But it was a great experience, the Guy and David years.
Did you have aspirations to be on the Lawrence Welk Show before you actually joined?
Well, no, I didn't, actually. I didn't know about the Lawrence Welk Show. I was one of those, I mean, my grandparents watched Lawrence Welk, but I was never home on Saturday night, you know. So my first, actually the executive producer of the Lawrence Welk Show was married to a lady from Yazoo City, Mississippi. Jim Hobson was married to Elsie Holmes from Yazoo City, Mississippi. So when I first went to California, through some friends at a local television station in Jackson who knew Jim Hobson, they arranged for me to have an audition with Lawrence Welk. So when I first got out to California, I don't know, first 2 or 3 months I was out there, and when I was working at the Horn, I actually went down and auditioned for Lawrence's people, as they call it. I didn't audition for Mr. Welk, but I did an audition for them, and they apparently weren't real impressed because they never called me back.
How long before you actually did join the show?
Well, I went through that, the couple of years of Guy and David. During those years, during those 2 years, I met Ralna. Ralna and I got married. Ralna got on the Lawrence Welk Show in May of 1969. And then that Christmas, she talked Lawrence into letting me come sing a duet with her on the Christmas show. And, you know, the rest is kind of history. He got all his fan mail, and he'd never had a husband-wife team, and all those years he'd already been on the air, 15 years. And so he had me back one more time after that Christmas show to make sure that mail wasn't a fluke. And little did he know all that mail was from Mississippi.
Well, that led to some wonderful things for you. You were nominated for a Dove Award.
It did. I through those years, you know, of course, Ralna and I recorded. I learned through Randy Wood and some other people who helped me learn how to make a record. Sitting there in the studio with the engineers, and so the last, I think about 8 or so albums that Ralna and I did, I produced those and albums, and one of them, the How Great the Heart album we did in Nashville, was nominated for a Dove Award. Kind of a thrill. We were nominated as artist, and I was nominated producer. So yeah.
Trent Lott has played a big part in your life through the years.
Well, he has. We've been friends ever since our freshman year in college. And, you know, I went to California, he went to Washington, and we both did fairly well in our jobs. And around the early 90s, I think it was actually 1990, I moved back to Mississippi, and he'd gotten elected to the Senate. He'd been the House Representative for 16 years. He got elected to the Senate. And when I got back to Mississippi, he called me and he said, I've been trying to run my state offices out of Washington. He said, it's not working. He said, I need somebody on the ground down there to do that. So would you be interested in giving that a try? And I told him, I said, you know, I don't know anything about politics. I've been in show business for 20 years. He just looked at me and said, you'll do fine.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Well,
but can I join you guys?
I would like you to interrupt.
Guy and Ralna together again.
How are you?
I'm just fine. How you
Good.
doing?
Hi, Mary Lou.
Hello there.
So glad to be here.
Good to have you. Well, probably your greatest production together was your daughter, Julie.
I would say.
What's happening with her?
Well, she's 27. She has her master's in education.
Yeah.
She's
the
finally-
best thing is she's out of school and she got a job. No,
And
we're so proud of her.
Oh, we are.
She's,
She's teaching first grade this next year.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge. First grade's a challenge.
Public schools in
Yeah,
Phoenix
public
and-
school in Phoenix. And she's
But
just...
she loves it.
Yeah,
You know,
she loves
really
it.
loves it.
So how about Guy and Ralna? What are you doing now?
Guy and Ralna,
Oh, my
man.
goodness. We're working more,
Here we-
Mary Lou, than we have worked in 20 years or so, Guy,
We
right?
are. It's like
Just everywhere, all over the country.
we're kind of just bumfuzzled about this whole thing. You know, as I tell people when we go out, I said we used to be when we started in Lawrence Welk. You know, we used to be the kids that sang to the senior citizens. Now we are the senior citizens, and we're still out here on the road singing.
But I think we're having more fun
We
right
are.
now than we ever have together. And it's just so great. And Sis gets to come along on occasion, and that's even more fun than anything.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we'll be looking for you.
Yeah.
well, we're doing a lot of state fairs and
That's great.
casinos and personal appearances across the country together.
Look for us in your hometown.
Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it?
Thanks so much for joining us. And thank
Thanks,
you
Mary.
all for joining us. We're so glad to have you with us. And until next time, as Lawrence Welk always said, keep a song in your heart.